Welcome yet again to Conversations in Literature. My name is Eric Rogara, and I am here joined by the author of these two books. Her name is Nyambura Nganga. First book, Sojourner. Second book, Blossoming Butterfly. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, very well. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Karibu.
Asante sana.
So I've seen you had a blog called Sojourner
Yeah,
before you wrote this book, eh?
yeah.
When did you start this blog?
So I used to write on WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
This was before the penetration of social media completely. That was in the early 2000s, like 2002, 3 there. So I'd write on WordPress, and remember then you would write, and then sharing was quite something. You'd send it on email so that people can get it, or send it on, I think, a link at that point in time, before social media really penetrated. Then now when Facebook started, I went to Facebook and started writing it. So I think, if I'm not wrong, I started writing on Facebook around 2007.
Oh.
Yeah. it was quite some time.
Hey, WordPress in 2000 and?
It was before that, maybe 2004, 2005. Yeah, the whereabouts of those years.
So WordPress was still around in those days?
WordPress was still around, and I hope I'm calling it WordPress as the correct thing.
Mm-hmm.
I could have forgotten, but yeah. Yeah.
Who are your readers in those days?
Those days it was my friends, just people I know, because there was also not a big distribution channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like today when you put something outside there and people can share, people can send to their friends as well. It was quite limiting actually. And I would send maybe to 30, 40 people. Yeah.
30, 40 people?
Yeah. It wasn't just a small group of friends. I mean, though, if you think about 30, 40 people, would be maybe 10 of my relatives, another 10 friends, and then maybe 10 acquaintances and 10 colleagues. So it might look like a big number, but it's a very close-knit number.
Did you have a comment section in those days?
No, actually, people would write. They used to be. But they would read WordPress. I don't remember, but you used to comment below it.
Mm-hmm.
So people would put in their comments, and it used to have names, by the way, that time. Mm-hmm. So if you answered it as Eric, it will show Eric said this, and everybody would just read. Yeah. And
people would write very long comments.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that's where the rush for I'm the first person to comment on this story started. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember that I'm the first person to comment from Because blog.
Yeah.
There was a time blogs were very big. I think I became an adult around the time blogs were still the big thing.
A big thing.
Yeah, I remember reading Acha Mishale, it's a big blog back then.
Mm-hmm.
There was Biko later, then there was another one called Potentash or something like that. Was it Potash or Potentash?
I think it was Potentash.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, I wonder what happened to them, by the way.
There was another one about the diary of a Kenyan or a Nairobi prostitute or something like that. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
But there were quite a number of diaries of something or the other.
There was Wanjohi Wake.
He still writes, and I think it's still funny.
But he does this, but not on the blog.
No, on Facebook now.
Yeah.
And he still has a large following, and his stories are just, even when he writes in that sort of pidgin English, it's still interesting.
Is it still as interesting now when you see at that time it's like there was only one madman in the market, but now everyone is mad. I don't know if he stands out.
I think for me, he still stands out. When he used to call half sons, when he used to say the girls he met half a son. And
oh, yes.
You remember?
Yes.
I think that thought is very brilliant in the way he put it. I think they say he was in the university during my years. I don't know that it's true. They say he went to University of Nairobi. I've never really seen the actual picture of who the person is, but I think he was an interesting person to follow. Yeah, even now the stories are still interesting, by the way. He still say about how he was conned in Nairobi. You know, the other day he wrote about a Gen Z he referred to a job, who calls him 2 days later and tells him, Maze sijafika interview, and it's 2 days later from when they were supposed to go for an interview. Yeah. So now he moved a bit to contemporary issues. Yeah.
Can you paint a picture for us for when you started your blog, as early as that time? What was the scene? Was there a blog scene, a writing scene? What was it that made you think, let me put something up on the internet?
I think the blogging, it wasn't, there were big bloggers, but I think the scene was smaller than it is now. And like I'm saying, it because the distribution channels were smaller, I think, then mainly you read people you knew. You know, because how else would the world out there know about you? There wasn't really a way of placing it. And everybody wrote in different areas. You know, there are people who wrote about family, like the way we are saying. There are people who wrote about Nairobi. And because it was quite early, and remember, when I started, I was just writing. Initially, I wrote just for fun, and it was a way of healing. You know, putting down your thoughts and just sharing with people, what do you think here? And I could be getting the years wrong, maybe mid 2000s, if I'm not wrong. It's been quite some time, because I think Facebook caught on in 2005 to, is it 2007? In the whereabouts is when now we started creating accounts and it became a bigger thing. Before that, we were still in the era of even Yahoo emails, I think. But so people wrote in their own different shells. There wasn't much distribution. And remember, in those days, there were magazines, Adam, True Love. That's where we used to look forward to get information on. And there were letters to the editor. By the way, I used to write letters to the editor, believe it or not.
For Saturday Nation?
No, not for even True Love. True Love used to have a place for letters to the editor. It was a very interesting concept. It's what you call now a suggestion box, or, you know, X. It's the same concept where you go and say, this has happened, this. So that's where we got a lot of information. And if you look at the older generation of writing, a lot of them did write for those magazines. So, and these magazines, funny enough, sometimes you found them in the salon. And the cycle for making hair those days was like every month. So every month you looked forward to go to the salon so you can get the next cycle of True Love, Cosmopolitan. Cosmopolitan was from abroad. We really did get a lot of magazines from the UK. I don't know why, or wherever we used to get them. But, and then we got some, I think, from South Africa, Vogue, some other, black-related magazines. And then in Kenya, now we had those ones, Adam, True Love. Msafiri, by the way, I don't know how Msafiri used to land in the salon. I have no
Parents
clue.
Magazine.
Parents Magazine. And then there was one called The Salon. And The Salon was an interesting one because it gave us styles, and it also had some lifestyle stories in there as well. So a lot of reading on the contemporary writings started from there. And I think in between there's a generation which has no idea. So when we tell them about True Love, they don't know how crucial True Love was to us. It was the way fashion was passed on. It was the way we found our role models. Like you would find, you know, they have featured Pinky Gilani at that time. A lot of people who are coming up in the media world. That's when now, you know, broadcasters were a big thing. And then also people we had not heard of before. You know, you would find a random pilot there, a scientist. Once in a while, you would say, you know, you guys just feature people in media. So they would feature those people. And slowly by slowly, that's how those... I remember then now we moved on from the magazines and people moved on to social media. Yeah.
Do you feel it's a loss? It's a loss? Or a gain?
I think it's a gain because it's wider, but sometimes it's a loss because then the world became so broad that then we were almost uniform. You know, we almost to a certain thought, we were confined to something. Maybe it's a bad thing.
We all read
the same thing,
watched the same things,
and knew the same people.
people.
So I don't know. But if we didn't broaden, then we also wouldn't have such a broad view of the world. So I think it's a good thing.
Well, in those days there were superstars and the rest of us.
Even now they are.
Now it's like you can be a superstar. Just go on TikTok and with the right thing or whatever, you trend and you become a superstar easily.
Yeah, but do you notice some of those trends don't stay for long? So you could be a superstar in 2025, but in 2027 nobody has a clue who you are.
That's another disadvantage of today's world.
Yeah, and then people tend to forget so fast. But in those days, when you would buy the true love and you'd have it and you'd keep it, when they would feature people like Catherine Kasavuli. Remember, Catherine Kasavuli had been one of the icon, and she dressed really well, according to us then. So you would follow and want to see who is the next person they'll feature. So you would carry it forward. And remember, even in the Parents magazine, they would still feature. So Catherine would be featured as a lifestyle on True Love. Then you'd find her talking about children, maybe on the Parents. And so we were a bit confined in what we thought and what we knew. Then it blew up. Like you're saying, now you can become an overnight success. I remember a while back, somebody was talking of a TikTok account of a guy who just chose Mira. And the guy has 3 million views. He doesn't talk. He doesn't do anything. He's just putting the thing in his mouth. And you're like, who are these 3 million people? That's all he does.
Yeah, there are people, I don't know, I was saying, there's a couple, Kenyan couple, they'll go on TikTok and go live because they're about to go to sleep, and then they go to sleep. And you'll find like maybe 15,000 people are watching them sleep throughout the night.
Sometimes I think social media allowed us to do the things we thought in our heads. And even say, you know, Eric, there are things that you think in your head, but you'd never say them. Even they are crazy. But now social media has allowed people, behind pseudonyms and behind accounts, and anyway, people don't know who you are. You can now just say them and do crazy things because, okay, why are you watching a couple that is sleeping?
There are others who do content like counting rice. And people are watching. It goes live counting rice.
Is that person still counting it or they stopped?
I don't know. These are just things that are there on TikTok. Like, social media is so weird. Or even YouTube or whatever. Somebody will do a video. Like, let's say, how to... Just imagine the most random thing. How to open a door.
Yeah,
and they will do a video. You put your hand on the knob, you pull... And the video will have 1 million views. And people will be commenting, wow, I didn't know how to open a door until this video. Thanks. Thanks for teaching me. It's like irony. I think the internet just loves irony.
Yeah, or like I'm saying, it's those things in your deepest of secrets. You'd not want somebody to find you, watching a video at how to open a door. But not because you have access to it. We have a lot of, we say we are busier, but if you think about it, we have a lot of time on social media. So you could afford, 10 minutes to just watch a video, which if somebody asked you, what were you watching? For sure, you were watching nothing. So I think for us who are not digital natives, it has been quite something to see where we've come from. Because me, when I was in the university, we still used to have money being sent. Somebody's coming to Nairobi, then they are given an envelope by my dad to bring, then it is left in somebody's shop. And then I even don't know, I mean, it was very weird because somehow you'd get a message that your dad sent so and so money. And it's money, by the way, and they all know it's money and it's left in somebody's shop. Then I would go to that shop and collect it, whether it's in Nyamakema or wherever. You would find somehow something has reached you. But now you see, there is, and this is how fast the world changed. It's normally very slow and then very fast. You can imagine people who are born maybe in maybe 2002, they found when M-Pesa had already moved on. So they don't know about that aspect where society, it was like the olden days of drums. That's why I'm saying an envelope is given to somebody and then given to another person. And that's how you got money.
I don't know. Sometimes I miss it.
Do you?
Yeah, I think the world has moved too fast. It's changed too fast.
I'm not sure.
Even now we are in the AI age, or wherever you go now, like you go to a supermarket or wherever, and if everything is automated. You go to China Square, things are automated. I don't know. I miss things being done by people.
Wow. I don't know, but the thing I know is
it's easier. I know it's easier.
It's much easier. But even when you look at what we went through COVID, and by the way, can you believe it's 5 years ago? When we say COVID times, I mean, that is how life moves so fast. When you look at the times when our meetings were online, a lot of them, you find that with time we went back to human interaction. We just realized at the end of the day, it's true we can automate, but we are also in an era where personal touch still comes through. You still find that you still want to meet with somebody anyway. You know, you cannot forever say that you'll meet your friends on Zoom all the time. Of course, Zoom has made it easier. Then now you don't have to physically meet for everything that would have been a 15 minutes meeting online. But you find there are some things, even when you go to the supermarket. Remember, we've even tried it locally in some of the supermarkets where you just swipe your things. But in the end, you still find unauliza mtu kwa supermarket, hii kitu iko wapi, hii nini. So I don't think even with AI that purely you can remove that human interaction. And if you even look at during the Industrial Revolution, when they were saying, you know, printers will do this, humans will be replaced. In the end, you find it's true, those things do come to assist, it's technology, but the human story still remains in there somehow. You know, they were saying even in the times of Henry Ford, when the cars were coming, every time, and every new technology has come with that story that, you know, we will do away with humans completely. But you find even after that, we've adopted the technology, guess what? Humans still come back. So do I miss it? I wonder. I do.
You don't miss magazines? You don't miss magazines? I miss magazines.
Oh, sometimes I do miss them, but I also realized if you look like at the evolution of true love, towards the end, we stopped being their target market. And I mean, when I say us, I mean anybody in my age bracket. Slowly, they started bringing people we couldn't identify with. And remember, true love used to feature people in your generation. You know, people you would consider either icons, fashion
well,
musicians.
Because people in your generation went to blogs.
Exactly. So you'd find, you know, they would feature people like Akina Nameless, and these are people who we grew up, who are part of our generation. So you start realizing, hey, this magazine has featured like 6 people and you don't have a clue who these people are. So what do? You know, you read the first one and you can't relate. The clothes they're wearing, you can't relate. You move on to other things. So I've always wondered, even, and I think True Love, they do an online version. I think they do a soft, if I'm not wrong. They still do one, but it stopped being as long. Then it used to be a 30-page magazine. I think it became smaller. And of course, now that it's digital, then I think it's much smaller. And then they feature the generation of people now. Not. I'm a millennial, so I think those guys, I don't have a clue who they are. Every time you turn a page, you're like, who is this? Yeah. In fact, if I tell you, and I can't mention the name of a musician, I went somewhere and there was this person and they came with a lot of security, and we were with a friend of mine. We went with campus with her. And you know, everybody just stood up and they were so happy. And we are trying to look at this guy. Is an international musician? Who is this? When you're told the name, you're like, who? What does he do? He's a rapper. Where does he rap? He's, you know, we are being told, you know, he's top of the charts, Eric. We had no clue who that person was. That's how you know now, you know, there are things that have changed a bit. Do we miss the old times? Of course, everybody will say the good old times, but the truth is life life keeps moving forward. Yeah.
Are you, when you're blogging, are you thinking, I'm doing this because I want to publish a book one day? I'm practicing for my book? Or, what was your reasoning at that time? Why did people blog?
I think people blogged for... By the way, there was no thought of a book when I was starting the blog. It was just something I did to enjoy. It was purely a hobby. We used to be asked on your CV, what's your hobby? You didn't know.
Yeah.
People used to write swimming and they have never even been inside a pool.
Pen pals. And they don't know anybody out there.
So, me, when I used to write, then my hobby was reading. Then I used to write. I used to write when I was in primary school. And primary school is random. You write on a notebook. High school, I wrote a bit. But high school, we were so busy. High school was something else. There was literally no time to even think outside the school, because you're either in preps. If you're not in preps, you're playing games, you're running cross country. So there wasn't much to write. But in high school, I did write for a national, for the, what do you call it? Kenyan music festivals. I wrote chorals, I wrote poems. I wrote a lot of poems. And actually, one of the poems I wrote went all the way to nationals and won. And unfortunately, I don't know that there's a record of it. Those days, there were no cameras and sijui what. Okay, side note, funny enough, these days, when you go for music festivals, they don't allow you to record because of data protection.
Okay.
I find that so weird. In our times, it's because there was no mechanism of recording. So...
But do they themselves record?
I don't know whether the music festival itself, but
do they have cameras there?
But how will they distribute it if there's an issue of data protection?
Do they distribute it?
They shouldn't, because they are protecting the data. And remember, these are
so
children as well.
So music festival is like totally analog?
No, they maybe they are recordings of those things. I don't know. Maybe you need to access them through, I think, the government. I have no idea. But in our times, there was truly... nobody had phones to take pictures or so on and so forth. So I did write a lot, and like I'm saying, in high school was mainly, and remember, music festivals was only on during second term. So I would write those things. I was the drama chairperson at that point in time. It was just something I took an interest in. But also, it wasn't something you were encouraged. By the way, my parents didn't even know I used to do it. My mother later could be told by somebody, your daughter really writes a lot of things in school. And she was shocked. She's like, what do you mean you normally write? I tell her I write. Do you write poems? Yeah. She's like, write for me a poem. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. I never wrote for her. Then I went to campus. I don't remember writing much in campus. So the blog must have been there after. And... I just started as a hobby, recording stories, just general things that happen. And no, I was not planning to write a book. I just used to do it as something I enjoy. Nobody demanded of anything of me. If I wrote on a Tuesday, it's fine. If I wrote a month later, it's fine. If I wrote a week later. So it was purely on my own terms. And I started recording the stories. Then one time something had happened, and a therapist was like, you need to start taking this writing seriously as a way of, getting off the steam out of your system. So she kind of recommended. It was just interesting. She asked me, what do you enjoy doing?
When was this?
This must have been in, goodness.
But still in the...
I think in 2000, God.
Pre-2010?
Oh my goodness. And this year's, sometimes people ask you about years and you realize you're...
No, I mean, is it like post-2010 or pre-2010?
Actually, it must have been around 2010. Yeah. So that's when it became consistent. Yeah, it should be around 2010. So she was like, consider writing. It's something you enjoy. You write. So actually, it was in 2010, around that time. So from then I picked it up. I tried as much as possible to write a story every week, at least. Of course, sometimes I would skip. But mainly I just wrote about the things that happened around that time. My own experiences, how you gain weight. out of nowhere. You know, slowly by slowly, one day you're on the weighing scale and you're like, this can't be me, but it's you. Eh? So
this is still WordPress, eh?
Yeah. And is it WordPress? I'm trying to remember.
Or Blogger. There was another called Blogger.
It had a word something somewhere. It could be, maybe I could be wrong, not necessarily WordPress. And now this was then. And it was like a thing where people used to write like in a box down there. And it was connected to your account, to your email somehow. So you'd get a notification if somebody does write it on the other end.
Must have been Blogger. Maybe.
Was it called Blog? I don't know. Why do I remember the WordPress? I don't know.
Or it was WordPress.
I don't know. Is WordPress that old?
I don't know.
2010, by the way, I'm making it look like it's so long ago, but 2010 is about 15 years away, right? 15. Yeah. Which is quite something considering the technological changes we've gone through since then. Yeah, so she's the one who recommended it. And that's how I started now making it a display as much as possible, trying to just, put something.
You must have had a lot of content by the time you shut it down.
Did I? But life is very interesting.
No, if you've been doing it from 2004 all the way to
I wonder.
All the way to around 2020. That's
like I'm saying, I could be mixing the years because if that lady recommended it in 2010 is when I became consistent. So there must have been a break somewhere in between, my high school campus and this time when she was recommending it. But I mean, it's a hobby. You just continue doing it as you go along. Yeah. So later is now when I brought the stories together.
When is this?
So in 2020, there was a lot of time thanks to COVID. We were working from home. And I don't know whether COVID led to it or it was just the opportunity to do so. Because over the years, people would ask, why don't you just write a book? Why don't you just write a book? And sometimes, people tell you, they psych you, wanakuchocha. I don't think they mean it, but if you take it seriously, you go ahead and do.
You took it seriously?
I took it seriously. I took it seriously and went. And it was a trial and error. By the way, I didn't know personally, other than the books I'd read in school, and I'd read a lot of books across, but I didn't know a person who had become an author personally. It's not like today where I know guys and that time, writing books was for Nyambura. It was people you would not even have an idea how to reach to them. So I decided to put them together. I'm a big fan of a lady called Nyambura, who had been writing for a magazine. She's Scottish for a very long time. And then she would bring her stories together in a theme and then put them in books. I think she has like 30 or 40 books. Very interesting person. So that's how I put my book together. I was like, okay, this lady had done it. So I pulled, you can't put everything you've done for, I don't know, it had been quite a number of years. So you can imagine at least I remember the lady told me to write consistently. That was in 2010. And now I was doing the book in 2020. Those are 10 years. So of course you can't put all that together, but you start looking for books so that stories that make sense. And what I had wanted is to start my story from when I was like 5, 6, and then grow it up to where I was at that point in time. So I just picked stories, general life, how it moves, school, relationships, work, parenthood. So that's the general projection of the book. Yeah.
That's a big jump from 2010 to 2020. Anything interesting happened, during those 10 years?
A decade is both long and short. Cause time just moves on, by the way.
Time sneaks on you.
Yeah. And then one day you realize 5 years later, like I'm saying, COVID normally looks like it was just yesterday when we were wearing masks, but it's already 5 years.
Yeah, I was shocked actually the other day. I was like, it's 5 years ago.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
As in, there were children who were born in maybe towards the end of 2020 who will never know about COVID, while the rest of us.
And the world seems, I don't know, the world seems to try so hard to forget COVID. We are not even writing about, there was a time I thought COVID was going to be like, I recovered an account I had back then, which I had lost, a Facebook account. I recovered it last month or a while ago, and I went and started reading like my DMs, reading my posts, some of them which were friends only, so I couldn't read them before. And I remember reading the post I was writing when COVID came. And the comments we were having, the conspiracy theories we used to have.
Armageddon was with us.
Oh man, I was talking about COVID, like, oh, this is like World War, what? This is a World War, this is what? I was reading them. I was like, wow, I don't remember having these opinions.
It looks quite far.
Yeah.
Funny enough, this year I've read 2 books. One by Ken Follett. It's called Whiteout, and another one by I Am Pilgrim. These books, both of them were published pre-2020. But to me, it was very hilarious because these books talked about a virus coming down on the earth. And those are not the only 2 books. I'm just talking about them because I read them this year and I remembered. And they were talking about how, you know, the world can be brought down by one single virus. And so it was so interesting, and I'm like, we had been talking about this conspiracy for so many years, but when it came down to earth, it's like we didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, we used to talk about it, and you're like, you know, I can't go out, I have to wear a mask. We had been watching these things on TV for so many years until it became a reality. That's when, you know, the way guys say, kwa ground vitu kuanga different.
Yeah.
So our ground, when COVID hit,
Yeah.
I don't think I think the magnitude was so big, or we were not prepared. But I'm like, these books had been written kitambo. People had been reading them over the years. What is this that we were unable to pivot from the stories we've been reading? And that amuses me because you ask yourself, as humans, do we really learn what we read in books or other people's experiences, or we wait to experience it now and then we learn from the actual experience? I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Do we learn from our experiences or from others?
Do we learn from other experiences that either we've read, watched, or do we wait until it has hit you as a person?
I think we only learn when we feel something. I don't think we learn mentally.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think we learn mentally. We only process facts mentally. But physically, emotionally, like the part that matters, you have to go through pain. Pain. That's why you hear you can't change an old dog. An old person cannot change unless through pain. Either through pain, so like when somebody is sick, or when somebody goes through grief, that's when they start growing, they start changing. Or when somebody goes through a transformational thing, like somebody has a near-death experience and they start feeling grateful to be alive. Or somebody goes to a crusade and is touched by the Holy Spirit and they change. So emotions are the only way people change.
wow. Okay, I've never thought about like that.
You know, I've read a lot of books, right? I've read a lot, and I thought this reading is going to change me, but no, reading didn't change me. The things that change me are things that happen to me in real life. These are the things that change me. So
But the thing is, you knew.
I knew, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if I know.
It
I
does
might
matter.
as well not have known.
You see why I say it does matter?
I might as well not have known.
You know why I say it does matter? It reduces the magnitude
Yeah.
of the hit because you knew.
Okay.
Look at it this way. Despite COVID happening, because we, like I'm saying, we had watched a lot of Armageddon, you know, movies and read about it. While I know COVID hit us a lot, at least we knew. Can you imagine if it was a blank slate?
Yeah.
Where the world has never thought, you know, if this thing could happen.
Okay.
And also look at it this way. You know, sometimes even when we talk about grief, and you know, grief, you only feel grief when it happens to you.
True.
That's when you really feel, you know, that you tell somebody, no, it will be well. It is normally well until it's you seated there being told it is well. It's when it hits you, the magnitude of it. But because you knew a little bit, you know, a friend had told you, know, when I lost maybe a child, I lost maybe a parent, you could see the way they carried on with that grief. You might not have participated in it, but because you've seen it,
But you
at least.
But you see what you are saying is that
At least.
that knowledge, you started using it in the moment. But before the moment happens, it did not change you at all. It's only when it happened when the knowledge now started making sense. Like it was there and you thought it made sense, but until it happened, you didn't know what sense is.
What sense is?
Yeah.
There's this saying they say in the Buddhist community, they say, the teacher only appears when you're ready to learn. And I think it's the same concept.
True.
So long as you're not ready to learn, you will continue, the lesson will continue beating you and beating you until the day you say, now I am ready to learn. Then all of a sudden you find these things that you knew. But then most of the times all of a sudden now it comes to make sense. You start building from where you are. But so long as you're not willing to learn, it doesn't matter how many times you read Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I don't know why people think that reading books is for learning.
It is.
You can't learn from books.
You can.
No.
Let me tell you something.
You get perspectives, eh?
You do get perspectives and you also learn.
But you only learn from experience.
To me, what I normally say, what you read is like storing things in a store. Like the traditional stores where our grandmothers used to put maize. So you put it there until you need it.
Okay.
When you need it, you'll go and remove it. But she's not cooking what is in the store because it's a store. So to me, reading is a store. And I always say, I'm grateful for all the things I have read. They might not have made sense, including what we read in school. Sometimes I feel so sad when I hear people say, why were we doing the 3 parts of a locust? Anyway, let me not get in this. But when I think about it, there are things that come to make sense later in life. Look at it this way. We learned about some maths things. I don't even know what used to be called. The way number plates are generated so that you don't have the same car. You don't have 2 cars with 1 number plate. Ordinarily, that shouldn't happen. And it was something we learned in maths. Was it cosines? Don't remember. But it was something we learned.
I don't. those things were about angles, sin, tangent.
Okay, not cosines, but what did we used to call
cosine.
It? There was something in mathematics.
Or is it log?
No, not log tables and logarithms, but for something else. Yeah. It was an interesting concept where I used to compute so that the number never becomes the same.
I don't remember that one.
Now, can you imagine it's the same thing that they use in number plates. But you see, when I was reading it in theory, to me it made no sense until you come and start understanding.
So it only makes sense if you make number plates, which most of us don't anyway.
Yeah, but you need to understand how come, what is behind this.
Well, when I go to make number plates, I will go to number plate school. They will teach me that thing.
No, and I don't think we should underestimate.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying.
You don't underestimate what you'd... It's the same thing. There are things you learn about, and it only comes to make sense 15 years later.
True.
In fact, a lot of the knowledge, if I look at it myself, which I learned when I was much younger, has only come to make sense to me now. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, that's why we did that in mathematics. And I encourage my child and her friends, and I keep telling them, I know how this generation looks at mathematics, but I keep telling them maths is the basis of life. It's the way you look at something and say 1 + 1. We look at it very simply when we say 1 + 1 is 2. But if you are to think about it, it's a basis of very many things.
But maths is logic, it's philosophy. So we should know maths, grammar, such basics, philosophy. So to learn how to think, geography. Basically, whatever we learned was also good.
Oh, my geography is just, someone told me the other day, Ati, southeast of Sijui what. I'm wondering, what do they mean southeast?
Oh, I wish they had taught us how to do that because I can't tell north, east, west unless I remember. North ni kwenda Nyeri, south ni kwenda
Kutoka wapi?
East ni kwenda Eastlands, west ni kwenda Westi.
Kutoka wapi? As in, if you're living Muthaiga,
Oh, if you tell me east of Muthaiga, I'll be very confused for a minute. It's like, oh, Eastlands, I crossed the road on this side.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You also need to know that these directions, there needs to be a basis. So when you say Eastlands, was it I think it was from city center, I would assume so.
Yeah.
But what I've learned is that our geography never taught us in directions. You find in other education systems, people will tell you, I live 2 blocks north of. You're like, what do you mean north of?
I watch these cop shows, these are the US, and the cops are chasing the criminal, and they are like, he's running north, and they know how to go there. So they change, like they turn and they head north. I'm like, how do they know which side north is?
You know, when you do Google Maps and you're walking and then tells you turn southeast, you're like, what do you mean turn southeast? Like,
Turn due north.
Like, what are you talking about?
As we know, left, right, and some people have to do this
So that they remember. Somebody told me, if you're not a lefty, if you write with your left hand, it tends to fall down. That's how you know that's your left hand.
Some people do. They're Catholic, so they do.
Are you serious?
This is my right hand.
But that one, actually, so you know, because when you write with your hand, I'm like, how do people come up with this concept? But one day, when you're in a class of people, just tell them, please put up your right hand, and people, the brain is trying to process which was. But that's the one thing in geography that amuses me, because I think it's our education system. But I was just reading.
It was too theoretical.
Was it?
Like, they should have, like, it's theoretical where, like, let's say if you are being taught swimming, this is an example I like to give, and you get taught types of swimming, types of water, types of swimming strokes in the classroom, but you never get in the water. Do you really know how to swim?
I think generally sometimes it's dependent on who is teaching you.
Yes.
Because ideally, you need to make it understandable.
But I think if they had been taught in the teachers training college, this is how to teach geography. So, like, how do you teach these kids? Probably the teachers themselves can't tell direction, like north, south. So how are they going to teach us?
You?
Yeah.
No.
Like, how do they, like, let me ask you, how do they, because probably you know, how do they get taught the directions? Because how in that movie are they being told turn south,
and they
know exactly how to turn,
but even,
and they are chasing the criminal, so it's a very high stakes moment. They don't have the time to check a compass or something. They don't even have a compass. They just know which side to turn.
At it, even when you find white people who have visited the country, especially people from the West, you'll always find them with a map. You think about it, Eric. When was the last time you looked at a map and had an idea? Even the map of Kenya, yes. When you look at it in theory and in practice, like me, I would, you know, when you say about Wasingishu, I would probably point it in a map. But if you tell me from Nairobi, point to me the direction, I would have no clue. But I think also it's upon us, and I'm a trained trainer. You must think about your audience, and this is where I find that even our teachers then, I think now it has become better because of the generation of students. Our teachers then did not think about their audience. They thought about what they were going to do. And I have even seen it even in church. You find that the people preaching think about themselves rather than the people they are speaking about. There's a priest who normally says there are some preachers who preach like they are still in Israel. You know, they are in the, you know, the Mosaic times. They are still talking about olives, and surely we live in Africa. What are you talking about? As in, they have not. You need to put yourselves in the shoes of the people you're going to speak to. And I think a lot of our teachers then, maybe it's because of also where their education had come from, I don't know. They never put themselves in the students' shoes. I don't know whether you remember this potassium a few years ago who did the thing of putting the potassium. And all of us, it hit us. This is what we did in high school. It had never become practical to us. It's the first time you're like, kumbe, when you put potassium, magnesium in water, is that the chemical? I don't even know.
But it was they were calling it potassium permanganate.
Permanganate.
Yeah.
When you put it in water, it turns red. I think it's because the education to us was like rote learning. You're repeating what the teacher does.
Yeah.
You don't truly understand the application of the thing. But that's my own theory. So sometimes it's just that we don't put it's like when when people talk about Jeff Bezos in terms of business in the Kenyan context. Do you think those two things
Yeah.
you get?
Yeah.
You need to bring it down to our market to understand our market to be able to communicate to the guys in the market. That's why I think maybe our directions just went haywire. Yeah.
So 2020 you start working on the first book, Sojourner. So you named this Sojourner after your blogger.
Yes.
The Sojourner, I would take that as yourself?
No, actually the Sojourner, the blog was when it was on that WordPress, which I can't remember whether it's WordPress, I mean it was called WordBlog or whatever it was. Used to be called the Safari of my life because I was generally just documenting my life.
Okay.
But remember the Sojourner actually just means sojourning. It's a word derived from sojourning.
Oh, so Sojourner is... Oh, I understood Sojourner as a traveler, but Sojourner is somebody who is just living...
Sojourning. You are on a sojourn. You are on a journey.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So I moved from the Safari of my life. Actually, the first book had been written, Sojourner, the Safari of my life, but we removed that so that you figure it out as you go along.
And you put a pair of shoes, somebody walking.
Yes. You're sojourning. You're walking. Yeah.
So sojourning through life.
Yeah, sojourning through life.
All right.
Yeah. And it's a compilation of short stories. So it just, you're sojourning through that life and the things that happen to you.
Are you still telling stories?
I'm still telling stories, and I love to tell stories because I realized if you don't tell your story, somebody else is telling you a story, and they are most likely telling the wrong story. Yeah. And sometimes you can imagine you could be telling my story, but you left my story 10 years ago, but you're still telling that story at 10 years ago, and yeah. So and stories to me are a way of documenting things. Like now when I'm trying to remember, was it 2010, 2005? It's a way of keeping a record so that you know what would happen. I've been asking myself, even as we go along, those movements we've been seeing in Naivasha, or when it rains very heavily, then there are seismic movements in Nakuru, on the Narok Highway. And I guess that's part of the Rift Valley. But I've asked myself, maybe these things happened 100 years ago. Where could that record be? Can you imagine if somebody had put it down somewhere? Then you can say every 100 years, there's normally seismic movement along the Rift Valley fault lines. I don't know whether it exists. I haven't seen it. But to me, those are the things that amuse me. I'm like, I wish we had this. Vasco da Gama landed in South Africa maybe about at the Cape of Good Hope. I think it was in 1497, 98. The reason we talk about it is because it was documented somewhere. I am sure, Eric, there must have been Africans. The thing is, Africa is vast, but there must have been Africans maybe who were moving from North Africa to South Africa for something. I mean, either trade routes or war or whatever, they were looking for other fruits to eat. But because there isn't anything documented on our stories alone, it's normally very difficult to have that story. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying.
I do.
And I wish we could document those things such that even 100 years from now, my great-great-great-great-grandchildren can come and say, this person did XYZ. This is the way they used to eat. They used to read the drum magazine. Reading Hardy Boys was a thing, many. So they'll be looking and thinking, hey, these guys were so dull. So to me, that's the other thing that writing does. It documents the history of our people, and just ensures that it's correct.
What about, we have TikTok, YouTube. Isn't it also
a way of documenting? Hey, are those wait, TikTok. sometimes I wonder, is that real or it's just our aspirations? We put what we that's what we want it to be, but is it true? You know, it's the same thing people ask about Instagram. You know, in Instagram everything is so nice, so well packaged. So is that real life real?
Okay.
I'm asking.
But the same thing could be said about autobiographies. People have said that you read the autobiography or a memo of a politician, and this person was a killer, drug lord, and all those things. But in the autobiography, this guy was number one in school. This guy was he was a staunch person who was contributing to the churches.
Well, that robs off a lot of truth in history. That's, by the way, it's rewriting history because it's not true. We all know it's not true. But I've seen, I read a book, and it's not a famous book. I even don't know where I collected the book, but it was called The Violent Years of Margaret, I think, MacDonald. It's a very old book, but it was an autobiography of a lady who had, and it's written so well because they document the truth. This person had killed 2 of her husbands. In fact, the cover of the book is a knife with blood. You can imagine. But for me, the essence of the story was it was written in such a way you're like, oh my goodness, somebody lived a life like this. But when you read the stories and the account of how it came, by the way, finally she was put in an asylum. But when you read what she had gone through, her life, and it was in the docks in the early years of Britain. Her parents were workers where they were living in a small room with a bathtub and they didn't have water to shower. They were literally sleeping in the bathtub. When you read that story, it gives you the human aspect of how somebody can end up where they are and how the story progresses. And you can tell the story is real because that person, unlike some celebrities who also rewrite their own history, you know, I'm sure you've read of these books where some celebrities say they come from poor families just to make the story a little bit, you know, nice.
Yeah.
They make it's like putting a little bit of salt.
I saw this clip, Victoria Beckham, the wife of Beckham. She was talking about growing up in a working class family, and then Beckham shows his head, you know, out of the kitchen or somewhere, and he's like, "Tell them what car your father was driving." And she's like, I don't think that is related. And she keeps saying, "Oh, you are working class." He says, "Tell them what car your father was driving." She's like, "It was a Porsche."
Oh, no working class there. So those are the. So for me, when I read books on personal account, I prefer people who are not famous. Because it tends to be a little bit. The account tends to be a bit true. The story has not been massaged for views, for likes. It's just the real story of that person. Yeah.
What's your story?
Mine. Wow.
Actually, that's one of your chapters here. Actually, it's not what's your story, it's who are you.
Well,
the first chapter. Who are you? That's the
You know, when people who ask who are you, I think the answer is normally dependent on who is asking and you know. Because think about it. Have you had something said about you and even you are shocked? You're like, and even me, I want to hear that story. Because you're like, there is no way that's me. But also, so who am I?
What's your story? It's a better question.
That's a very complex question to answer because, I'm a middle-aged person. I am a mother. I am a sister. I'm not sure. I'm sure those are not the answers.
But
anybody.
That's who you are. But what's your story?
Oh my goodness. My story is that I have pivoted quite a lot in my life in terms of just deciding that I can do something. You know, in terms of And even when I look like at writing, it was something I did for fun. And then one day, despite the church, I was like, maybe I could do this thing commercially. But and it has been something I have been consistent on doing for the sake of the craft and the story. Like I said, I like storytelling, and I like also that we put ourselves in the shoes of other people. I think the human story sometimes looks very unique, but it's very similar. So you find that in my story, when I give my stories, there is somebody who has experienced what I've experienced. And there was somebody who had experienced what I'd experienced, it's only that I refused to listen, and it comes back to give me a good bite. So to me, I'm a storyteller. I do a job in the finance sector, which I enjoy. I also like to understand things, so that I'm not moving from just a point of just saying. So to me, it makes a big deal that I understand where somebody's coming from or where something is coming from. And Esther Perel, I don't know whether you know who Esther Perel is, but she's a very interesting person in the relationship space. And she says life is lived in the details, in the small things. Sometimes you think it's the big ones, but the big ones is just a compilation of many things. So if you think about it, those details, it's like when you sit somewhere and you remember something either your grandmother told you 10 years ago. That detail, and then you add another detail and another detail, is what makes life. So for me, I like looking at those things. And also life is in patterns. You can be able to tell that this pattern, if this continues like this will land me here. So generally, I don't even know, is that the way people describe themselves? I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Challenges? Is there okay, let me ask you a question. Life was going this way, and then this happened and you went this way. You said you've pivoted, eh?
Yeah.
What happened? No, that's I'm sure that's a story in the book.
That's a story in my book, and it's a very long story, and I wouldn't want to go through it. But
yeah.
You know, sometimes you've planned your life like a movie. Eh?
Yes.
This scene should follow this scene, and then should follow this scene. But having lived on Earth for over 40 years, one thing that you realize, that movie script of yours, one day something will blow it off and disarrange the entire movie. For some people it comes earlier, for some people it comes later. Mine came much earlier. It wasn't something that I had anticipated. It caught me flat foot, actually. Let me tell you why I'm laughing, Eric. You know, sometimes you've planned your 20s so well, but one thing in your 20s throws you off, and you spend your whole 30s trying to fix the problem. And I think we overlook it. And because I'm speaking in a broad sense, it could be a financial thing, it could be an emotional thing, it could even be loss, and loss of many things. I think, you know, when we look at loss, sometimes the loss we normally concentrate on is loss of death. But there are so many other things that you could lose. Can you imagine having built a successful business and it goes down in your mid-20s, and probably in your last 8 years, that's what you had been building, you know? So, and those things really take us off. You know, they hit you and you move. So whatever course correct I corrected, I was in my early 30s. So this thing happened in my late 20s. And let me tell you, it takes a whole lot of resilience, of building up, of starting to realize, oh my goodness, I have to do this. Nobody can lift you up. You yourself, you must decide, you know what, Nyambura, this is you. You must build it afresh. So you start. And of course, there are times you'll sleep. There are times you'll almost give up. There are times you'll just sleep, just generally just sleep. But slowly you start realizing, you know what? Very many people are fumbling in life. So you try your best. You do this, you do that. And then here we are. So I think you learn a lot. And one of the things that I find interesting, and that's why I tell you I like reading, is just the realization that I'm not the only one who has experienced this thing. One, it gives me comfort. It would be very unfortunate if I'm the only person. But at least we are many of us who have gone through the same things. And then I've also learned that a lot of people are able to pull themselves. And so it gives me courage. I keep encouraging myself, if somebody else would pull themselves, then here we are. Yeah. So and I wonder if life didn't have challenges, Eric, where would we be? What would be life without challenges? What would it be?
Without challenges?
Yeah.
It would be sweet.
Really?
Yeah, it would be the land of milk and honey.
Do you know how humans hate boredom? Do you know how they hate boredom? Do you know why you do some two things?
That sounds like chasing dopamine.
We are in that generation.
Yeah.
The generation of dopamine chasing. Yeah. There must, once in a while, I come from Nyeri. So when I'm going home, and I find this very interesting. So I have my daughter and my son at the back of the car there. And then we've just left Nairobi. Then they ask me, are we almost reaching Shosho's place? We've just left. We are hardly even in Roiro. And I'll take the phones away and I'll tell them, you just sit behind there and decide what to do with your time. So they ask, especially when they were younger. Now they are much older, so they would understand distance-wise. But when you're younger, you don't get the concept of. So we are somewhere on Thika Road. Are we almost at Shosho's place? Of course we are not. It's like an hour. And then I tell them, yeah, we are almost there. And then 10 minutes later, are we almost there? But you suddenly realize that because the human, when you're telling me that without challenges, life would be sweet, we sometimes look for problems because we are looking for something, for that dopamine hit, So you would always find, and I find this with especially the current generation, because like I'm saying, I'm not a digital native. So I didn't grow up with a phone. So I had learned the art of patience, of waiting. Good news happened after a very long time. It was a lull, then you get. So you can imagine, now we are in an age where something is happening. It's not in the UK. It's in, it's in Scotland. If it's not in Scotland, there's something happening in Germany. Russia is in UK. There's always something, and because now we have a global view, then things are many. But remember those times, if I was going to meet you at Kenya Cinema, and we had agreed, there was no way of ghosting a person. Because there is no way of me reaching you, Eric, and telling you, and I can't make it, or ghosting. In fact, I don't think there was. Did people used to ghost people at Kitambo?
I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
That habit just it bewilds me how we've picked up this ghosting story. Anyway, so if you had planned to meet somebody,
I thought that's when they would have ghosted way easily.
But then
because you can't even track me, if I
no, people are reliable. I think, and then now ghosting has become a thing. At you're sleeping in bed, you are supposed to meet me, and then you continue. You decide, you know what? I'll meet her.
That's what is ghosting. I thought ghosting is when we are having a relationship, then instead of breaking up, we just stop talking to each other.
That is part of ghosting, but look at it in the holistic sense of how unreliable. And that time, by the way, there was no. So we had agreed. We even had cell phones still, but sometimes, because I think we used to buy airtime in bundles of 1,000, or I don't even remember. As in, if we had agreed we are going to meet at Kenya Cinema at 6 on Thursday, you will show up. Somehow you will just show up. Because the chances, if you don't show up, then it will become another case of looking for this person, and it will take some time. But today, and you're in the cell phone, you're asleep and you're lying, I'm just 2 minutes away, and then you don't show up. So anyway, I find it so complex. Anyway, my point is that without challenges, and I just mean normal life challenges, we will go and look for even bigger challenges. Because, those things we call first world problems, those are just people who are looking for, what would give them the next high, what would they do? Yeah. And like I'm saying, we are the age of dopamine. We are always looking for the next thing. There isn't a time where we just say, okay, can I close all this and just be quiet for a few minutes? Yeah.
So when you published the book, or the process and after, so there must have been challenges.
Oh, of publishing the book?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I was a rookie, and it was just overwhelming. I like I said, I didn't know anybody who had published a book. I was just trying, Googling here, Googling there, trying. The person who printed the book for me was very kind. So we went through the process with him, and it was like a crash course. And this book has had 4 covers. In fact, one of the covers, when we printed the sample, he's like, Nyambura, this, and I agreed with him, this will not work. Nobody will buy this book in this cover. We changed the cover. We changed into the first cover. When we looked at it, it just didn't work. So by the time we were doing this cover, I think this was number 4. And because it was trial and error, the paper we first used, you realize paper also is very important. There is paper that, the newspaper paper is not the same like the printing paper. And also there is paper that, if you look at school books, the quality of paper used is not normally, it's just used for a short period of time and then it kind of disintegrates. But most people want to hold on to a book much longer. So I learned about paper, I learned about off-white paper, white paper. White paper is too white, so most people prefer white off-white so that you can read for a longer period of time. I learned about fonts. All this thing you're learning on the go. And please remember, I am doing books.
What did you learn about fonts?
I learned about fonts. In the first copy had a different font from this one. So you learn. Depending on who you want, who is your target market, how big is the book, can it fit in a handbag, can it fit in a man bag? Those are things you wouldn't think about.
Man bag?
Yeah, man bag, so that a man can put it in,
How many men do you know who carry man bags?
There are many. I see Denry selling bags all the time, this man bag. And anyway, these days people carry, or their laptop bag.
Gen Z.
You tell me you can't carry a man bag?
Depends. What kind of a bag is it?
Just a small, I don't mean a handbag, but one that you can cross your chest.
That's a handbag.
It's a man bag.
That's a handbag.
And these days dudes put maybe their phones. If you're carrying an iPad.
I think I had one like that. Maybe Timea Campus. It looks like a laptop bag. But I don't know. I grew out of that. You outgrew them. Yeah. So okay, if you want to carry a book, what do you do? How do you carry the book? The bag, or I could just carry the book.
But you'll forget it and leave it somewhere.
I can have a what do you call it? That non-woven bag. Yeah.
It's still a man bag anyway.
No, that non-woven carrier bag, from the supermarket.
Oh my goodness, from the supermarket.
Just put the book.
So you'll be holding the.
No. I will roll it like this and hold it like this.
But you'll forget it somewhere. That's the reason you have the man bag, so that anyway. So
the fact that you've called it a man bag,
you feel like I'm now telling you to carry a handbag.
No. It's like when you say man thing. It's like what's something that we normally say it's for this gender, and then we change it and we add man. Like
when you say chairwomen, I'm like,
yeah,
they are just the chairman of that board or whatever. You don't need to make it.
Oh, it's like, let's say if you created a brand of lipstick and you call it man lipstick. It's like, it's just man lipstick. It's for men.
No, but anyway,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that's how I view man bags. The name. Change the name to something else.
okay, a laptop bag or whatever. So
Yeah,
those are things you would ordinarily not think about.
Yeah.
But now when I think about it, there are some big books I have had, and I have had to cut them into 4 pieces so that they are portable, you know. And so one of the things that I have done over the years is that I always have a book, because Kenyans really keep time, you know what I mean there. So that anytime, if I have a few minutes before this or that, then I can just read the book. So those are things I hadn't thought about. So when I launched the book, there's quite a number of changes that had to be done in the first few months. And it was learning on the job. I enjoyed it because also it was just me doing a project for myself. And initially I'd said I don't want hard copies, gone to Amazon. But that time, Amazon really just, you had, when you are exiting, to pay, you could only use a card. Kenyans and cards, everybody was just like, Nyambura, I can't pay this with M-Pesa, I can't pay with this M-Pesa. That's how I ended up doing hard copy books. Yeah.
So those are the challenges in publishing. What about now? You've published, you've brought it to the market.
Wow. So the new challenge, once you have the book, is the market.
Did you do the launch?
No, I didn't do the launch for the first book. So it was just, you know, I put it up on Facebook. By then Facebook was quite large. You know, you can share it.
What was there are people who had been telling you, Nyambura, write a book. Write a book, Nyambura. Tutanunua. Did you start?
Oh my goodness.
Did you start DMing each and every one of them? You told me to write a book. Here's a book.
I learned very fast on the job. The first people I DM'd, and they have never replied to my DMs now. About 6 years later, never came back. And then I realized, and this is a crash course in business, is that one, it's easier to make customers your friends than your friends your customers. It's easier to make customers your friends than your friends becoming your customers. One of the things that you realize is your friends, and especially when it's a non-consumable item like a book. You know, it's not like shoes or a top. It's the psychology of buying a book becomes a little bit different. The decision-making process is not the same. It's not even about the cost of the actual book, but the process is a bit different. Because you'll find some of your friends who are not readers, they've not read books since they left campus or high school or wherever. Then you'll find those people will be like, ai Nyambura huwezi kuwa umeandika kitabu. And they were the ones who are telling me andika kitabu. Then once you write that, no. Wewe unaweza kukiambia watu aje?
It was just a compliment. They were paying you. They were just paying you a compliment.
Wewe unaweza kukiambia watu nini?
You know, the other last week I was in town and I had one mzee tell another one, hey, when I andike a storybook, kega mune.
You were praying that he didn't take it seriously.
And I think he was just telling his friend, your stories are very funny.
So, you know, books are very interesting.
Yeah.
Because that mzee can write a story and does a good job.
Yeah.
And I also say that if you go to the internet, every day you'll find a very interesting story. And you'll find somebody in the comment section of that story telling, well, unaweza andika kitabu. This person has written one post on Facebook. Na unamwambia andika kitabu ya.
Kama hujai ambiwa write a book and you write online,
Kuna shida.
Kuna shida.
So anyway, I took it seriously, and so I realized very fast. The first people I DM'd, most of them never wrote back to me, so I stopped DMing people. I also continued writing and decided, you know what, I enjoy writing. So whether people buy the books or not, I have done what I had wanted to do. If they come and buy the book, okay. If not, I found a number of strangers who actually do look for me and want to buy the book and just read, which I find interesting. Because I have always imagined, it's like music, you know, if you are a musician, you would imagine that the people know you, who know you would support you first, because they're the first consumers of the product. But I think maybe it's the way we view arts in Kenya. I don't know. So you find, well, you know, it's like in Kikuyu somebody saying, It's not been said like it's a good thing. It's like they're saying, you know, it's like she plays outside there sometimes. You know, she writes books sometimes. And because it's not my main career that I balance with what I do, maybe that also, you know, would be a divider. You know. So I quickly learned also to be content, to just say, you know what, I'll do what I can. And so I do what I can. I make the books available on Nuria or Kibanga Books or wherever somebody can get them, or if you find me online, then I'll have them delivered. But it's just quickly learning that the art, it's not just because somebody will hear you're a writer that they'll buy your book. And anybody who told you write a book and buying the book, those are two different things completely. And then, well, once you make peace with it, you move on. Yeah.
What about the feedback that these people who did buy the books, what some feedback they've been telling you, you know, has there been somebody who's come and said, oh, this story or this thing you wrote here, it has affected me in this and that way? Or, you know, just people giving you feedback about the book?
I have received feedback. I remember some day, and I was in the middle of a meeting. Some girl calls me, Nyambu, na uko kwa speakerphone. Okay, Gen Z. I'm telling you, that's why I say in the book, New World Order.
You had provided a phone number?
She knew me.
Oh, okay.
When she asked for the book, she had called me. I think somebody had given her my number. So she called me. She told me, Nyambu na uko kwa speakerphone. That's the first thing she tells me. I'm like, okay. She tells me, and I'm here with my friends. We want to find out, there's a story called The Jacket in the first book. We want to find out this jacket story. What happened after you found the jacket? I'm telling you, this person removed me from a meeting to ask me this question. I'm like, okay.
It was tea. Give us the tea.
Tell us, we want to know. Yeah. So I tell them the story is as told on the book. No, we want to know. Is this even real? Oh my goodness.
So ukawachapia story.
Sasa niko katikati ya mkutano, nimetoka uko ndani, nimetoka hapa nje. These people on speakerphone, and I can hear quite a number of people speaking. And the other thing I forgot to say, your book can be bought by one person, but it's read by 8 people.
Yeah, true.
You get, so it's a community book. It's not. Yeah. So these girls are on the phone. I can hear them giggling, and they're saying, "We want to know, is this a real story?" So I told them the story is this jacket. You guys will need to go look for it. But that's how the story ends. They're like, no, you must tell us. I'm telling them, you guys, but then I'm in the middle of a meeting. Please allow me to call you back. They're like, no. All of us are here at the same time.
So did you tell them how it ended?
No. That's the ending of the story.
But it's based on life.
Yeah, but you see, the story is meant to be like that. So it's for you to imagine what happened afterwards.
No, I'm saying it's something that happened in real life. Real life didn't stop happening when you stopped writing.
I allow everybody to imagine whatever they want to imagine.
So you just refused.
So I normally end it there.
Ulikataa kuambia.
Sikuwakataa.
Si iliendelea in real life.
I imagine, wow.
But in real life iliendelea, si ndio?
And that, by the way, is the story that most people ask about when they read book 1. I'm always asked, what happened to this jacket? How could have this? How? Anyway, you probably think about it later, but everybody just asks, this jacket, what happened? So that I get a lot. In book 2, there is also a lady who disappeared in her own house. And so I get calls. What happened to Mama? What happened to Mama? And then somebody wrote me a text the other day and asked me, Anya Nyambura, what were you doing in jail? So it's a story about some ladies in jail.
What were you doing in jail?
And I found it so hilarious because this is a random chat on a random day. Yeah. And then somebody just texts, hi, how are you? Fine, thank you. And you will go have a jela.
It's a good question. If you didn't explain it in the book,
I asked him, when you read the story, what did it make to you? He was like, and your story of being there is very flimsy. He wanted to understand the real actual story.
Did you explain what you are doing there?
So let me tell you the interesting thing about books, which I like, is that you know, when you read a book, the imagination is your imagination. You even extract yourself from the author. And that's why most times we are disappointed when we watch a movie based on a book you have read before. Especially when you've read it before. In fact, I think, to me, the only book I've read and I experienced almost the same thing is Anne of Green Gables. They really did a good job in depicting it
as you had imagined.
As you had imagined. Because the way the leaves, you know, they talk about the leaves being blown. It was the same way in the book. So they tried as much as possible to ensure that it's the same as the book. Now the other ones, sometimes you're like, what? Surely this can't be the same book. Surely. So even without watching the movie, when these people call me, it's because of the imagination. When this person is asking me, you can't have been in jail for such a frivolous thing. In the imagination, first they've put me in the story, me as a person, the way they know me. And then the second thing they are trying to imagine, huku unaweza enda sell juu ya kitu kama hiyo. So they are trying to, it's what they think. You get, it's not necessarily the truth, but it's the way.
But they're asking for the truth.
But you see, my truth is in the book.
Oh, okay.
It is you who now is superimposing some stories because you're trying to and like I said, because I write in the Kenyan context, when I tell you about Langata Road, you can imagine. You can imagine the distance on Langata Road. You can imagine driving to South Sea from Langata Road. So in your mind, it's so real that now you even started putting your own, unaweka bits kwa story we mwenyewe, and it's not the story that you're reading. But that's a joy of reading a book. Yeah. Of you being able to even think about it. So those are the two most stories, and another one called The Purple Dress. That story normally hits a chord with people who are in a certain part of their lives. So they'll tell me, Nyambu, you know, I had shoes like your purple dress. And by the way, this is just a simple story of a dress that I bought. And it was a good dress, and it was in fact expensive. But guess what? I postponed wearing it like a month after I purchased it. Then there was a wedding we were going for that was color purple themed. It rained. I didn't make it. I had another function. Do you know, in 2 years I never wore that dress. The day I wore it, it couldn't fit. So think about those things that in your life are like that. You bought a book, you bought shoes, you bought, and now right now we're in the consumer. You know, we're in the consumerism age where you buy and buy and buy. Then those things, one day you look at them, you even wonder, am I the one who bought this thing? So yeah, so those are the things that I'm mostly asked about. I've also had instances where people ask, hey Mazi, hii story ni yangu uliniandika. Sasa imekuwaje story yako?
Si umeniambia saa hii to think about things I've lost.
So this story I've written it, but it looks so similar to your own story that you think it was about you. Yeah. So there are also guys who will say, Nyambu, were you telling me? So Nyambia too directly, but no. I was just writing the general human story. Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me happy. It makes me happy. One, they read the book. Two, that they went through the details of even. I mean, to me, it's always an honor when somebody comes back to me after reading the book and telling me X, Y, Z. I love it because it also gives me. It gives me insight on what are people looking at and what people are going through. And I say sometimes you can read a book and dislike it, then reread that book at a different situation in your life and love it. And it's the same book. The only thing is that you are in a different situation in your life. Yeah.
Right. Have you seen books that are similar to yours? Whatever you would call this genre of book.
Creative non-fiction, yeah, quite a number of people writing it.
No, like with very short snippets from life. Not like one long narrative.
Yeah. My Mbichi has written quite a number. She puts, especially people who have been in media and used to write a column. Many of them come to compress those stories into books. You know, this column, that column. So they do come, quite a number of people especially. Even some of the New York bestsellers, you find where somebody was a columnist. So they ran either a monthly column or a weekly one. They do come and put their stories together. And release books. Yeah, so quite a number of people do write in that sense, where it's snippets of different things.
So do you think your next book will be snippets that are also, you've posted somewhere, or it's going to be now you wrote it in the privacy of your laptop without having posted it, so it's like a very fresh stories to anybody out there?
But I honestly haven't thought about it, but I think this time I want to do a longer story. Still short, but in this sense a longer one, so that in the end maybe
so a collection
I have 4,
of longer ones?
5, yes.
Oh, 4, 5.
Yeah, just max. Not very many. I think in book 2, if I'm not wrong, there are 60 something. So it's very varied. We talk about growing flowers, about parenting, about shoes, dating. So it's very varied and very wide. But now I would like to condense it.
So almost like novelettes.
Yeah.
Still from your life.
Still from life. To me, this is it.
Yeah.
Life, whether you call it fiction or not, and I normally say, even when you read what is called fiction, there are things that you know, this is based on real life. It's something that could have happened somewhere else. Yeah.
What are you reading?
So currently, I'm reading 2 books. I'm reading an abridged version of the long Mandela's book. The long Walk to Freedom.
The Long Walk to Freedom.
So I'm reading an abridged version. The Long Walk to Freedom, the original book, is quite large. And I decided to do the simpler one. By the way, I think it has been done for children, and I'm enjoying it because it's very simplified. And I'm also reading another book called Building Faith. Should be the name. Yeah, but it's a Buddhist talking about their faith and just generally how you can do things with faith. You just go out there. Yeah.
Tell us about this. Tuseme nini?
Oh, tuseme nini are conversation cards. So this, what are conversation cards?
For Kenyans by Kenyans is what I'm seeing here in the flag of Kenya.
Yeah. So these conversation cards are to allow you to build conversations, especially, if you are a parent to teenagers, your chama, your colleagues, mates, people who you'd like to extend conversation. So you're not just seated somewhere and wondering, okay, unaangaliana tu, hamjui mtaongelelea nini. It's a basis of starting a conversation. Or if you have game nights, it also helps in that. Or assuming you had a puncture somewhere and you're waiting for whatever, a wheel or whatever, what would you be doing? So you have the conversation cards. And the thing is, I looked at them from an eye of a Kenyan. So it's relatable. So and ask you which are the freshwater lakes. What's the name of your MP? Where you live? What's their name?
Oh, where I live? I don't know.
What's the name of your MCA?
I don't know. I don't vote there.
Okay, whatever you vote, what's the name of that MP right now?
Manje.
MCA?
I don't know.
You see? So some of those things, you realize, oh my goodness, what's your, let me see. Who do you think is a Kenyan urban legend?
A Kenyan urban legend?
Yeah. The person, the name of the person.
A Kenyan urban legend?
Yeah.
Mark Mende.
Mark Mende.
Yeah.
Who else?
Somebody who doesn't exist.
Somebody who exists.
Oh, okay. Tony Mochama.
Tony Mochama. We used to call him Smitten.
Yeah.
Smitten.
Yeah.
Used to write on the pulse when I was in from no.
Oh.
University.
Don't say you were in school.
No. I was in campus. Sorry, not in high school. I was in campus.
You know, during the reader, somebody said, Cynthia Abdallah said, I used to read Tony when I was in school, and somebody said, Connie, how old are you guys? To Tony. So you're telling me
no.
You used to read Tony when you were in high school?
No, when I was
as
in
well?
campus. That's when the pulse and donation used to have the pull out. God, they used to be brought to the library. All of us used to be in the library on Friday.
Yeah.
I think both of them used to do that pull out.
Yeah. But
The pulse.
But Tony is fairly older. I interviewed him. He's from 1975.
Oh yeah, he could probably be almost 10 years my senior or something.
He's 50.
Yeah. So he and it was a big deal. Because remember, this pull out used to have the top 10 songs.
Yeah.
It used to have a fashion pull out, so we'd know what to wear that time. And it was still those days for songs. We used to, Babyface.
Yeah.
It was the time for Ogopa.
Yeah.
Ogopa DJs was at its height,
Yeah.
the beat. So it was so enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then we had not seen somebody right like Smita Smitten and Vodosky and
Kibandaski.
Kibandaski.
He told me he invented Kibandaski. People are still saying that today.
Imagine.
Yeah.
So anyway, so those are the things I ask in those and then also about values. Like what when you're very happy, who do you normally share the good news with?
Okay.
It's a question, it's on the cards. It's
yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah. I'm not the guy on the internet.
Don't go and tell people on the internet. And when you have bad news, who do you tell?
Yeah, I see.
You get?
Yeah.
And the reason why I ask questions like those is for us to introspect. Because sometimes I think the internet has made us sometimes mistake who are our friends, what to do with the internet. And it doesn't forget.
Yeah.
So even if you're to Google my name somewhere, it will bring up something maybe I wrote, 15 years ago. So questions like those. So there are questions about Kenya in general. Like now, which are the freshwater lakes in Kenya?
I'm not in geography school. Freshwater lakes. Lake Victoria. Yeah? Lake Victoria. If I say Lake Victoria, that's all the lakes.
Two.
Yeah?
Another one.
Turkana.
Is Turkana fresh? I don't remember. Those are the questions there. So you need to figure them out.
Yeah.
And also, what is kindness generally from a Kenyan perspective?
What is kindness?
What is kindness?
Sharing food.
Yeah. Do you think we are kind?
Yeah.
Do you think we are a kind nation?
Well,
Do you think we are
relatively
kind?
compared to white people, we are kind. Compared to Tanzanians, we are unkind.
I don't know.
Like you go to a white person's house. There's a guy who told me. This was in church actually. We were in this group called church back in the day, and this guy, there were these white people from I think Italy or wherever. I'm Catholic, so they had come to help, do something, build something, and they were telling us all these things, And then this guy, my friend, he had to take something to their house, and he got to their house, and I think he expected, he'd be welcomed for food, and that didn't happen. Yeah.
Do you know, I don't think white people look at food the way we... I don't know, I could be wrong.
But food is like
I don't think they look at food the way we look at food.
Yeah.
And why sometimes these people eat a sandwich as food.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be crazy where lettuce is put in bread and a small piece of ham and you eat that for supper.
But if you can't be kind with food, if you can't be kind with food, what can you be kind with?
Oh my goodness.
Although they do donate a lot to charity.
And let me tell you, if you think about it, a lot of people who have gone to the university have gone through donations of those guys.
True.
We don't donate as much.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot of philanthropy.
But we are always doing it here. Like how many WhatsApp groups are you in for Mazishi?
But we don't need to wait for you to die or to be. Anyway, your health is your health.
Weddings.
Oh, goodness. You're better off taking somebody to campus. I could be biased though.
But we still do that as well.
We do socially.
Yeah.
But anyway, the reason I ask is because sometimes you find we become very unkind to people. And kindness not in the sense of even giving.
Yeah.
It's like if you found somebody being beaten, what would you do? Would you be the good Samaritan or would you just pass by? And anyway, so those are the questions in the pack of card. It allows you to speak to other people. Generally, what I was looking for is a card that you can even play with children who are above 4. And it's really to slow down, because sometimes, you know, because of the nature of how we are always in a hurry, how we are always moving, what could bring us together to just slow us down a bit, to think through. You know, like when I ask you who is your MP or MCA, you slow down and start realizing, oh my god, it's true I voted, but do I know these guys? When I ask you what for example is the composition of the defense forces, you know, you know, everybody goes like, it's when it hits you.
Yeah.
It should be the Navy plus.
Oh, you asking
You get,
that?
yeah.
Oh.
It's
I thought you meant like, you know,
the ranks.
lieutenant. Yeah.
No. I'm just asking about the composition of the different
There are three, right?
organizations. Yeah,
The
there are three of them.
Navy, Army, and Air Force.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you see, because we don't think about it, we don't. Those things tend to.
General knowledge. Huh?
Yeah, it just tends to get off.
But it's good for asking kids. Can I ask you one or two?
Yeah, I hope I remember. Oh, my last one before you ask me.
Yeah.
What would you do if I gave you $1 million?
Okay.
Yeah.
$1 million is
Yeah.
100 million shillings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Do you want me to tell you? if you gave me $1 million,
It's one of the questions.
I would take that 1 million and seclude myself for 6 months and plan for my next 20 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 months is enough.
So, you know, when you ask that question,
Yeah.
it triggers very many people.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't give you should answer the question in like 3 minutes, just so that we know what your initial thoughts are. So there are people, of course, who will say, I'll buy Lamborghinis. There are people who will say, I'll fly out of the country. But it gives you a sense of where this person
What to do?
is. For me,
Yeah.
I'd go on holiday around the world. I would visit every place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
And I would experience because I think if you don't visit so many countries, you tend to be limited in how you look at things. But I would want to have a more broader view, so that when I say these guys who eat sandwiches as food, I understand them. Yeah.
Let's see.
And don't look for a difficult one, just ask the one that's there.
What has been your biggest money lesson? My
biggest money lesson is that you have to give it time to grow. There isn't a microwave solution to money. It's discipline first. Yeah.
Sing the second verse of the Kenyan anthem in Kiswahili. It's here.
Mungu Nguvu is the first verse, then.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't know if it's Amkeni.
Ndugu zetu tufanye sote bidii, Kenya istahili heshima, tuungane mikono pamoja kazini, kila siku tuwe na ustawi. But is that the second or
tuwe
the
na
third?
shukrani.
Shukrani.
You know, there's also natujenge taifa letu, enyi ndio wajibu wetu, Kenya istahili heshima, tuungane mikono pamoja kazini.
No.
I don't know the last
sentence. Yeah, maybe I should remember that.
What do you dislike most in people?
Inconsistency. I just don't like inconsistency.
Okay. Are you consistent?
Yes.
I can tell.
I'm a very consistent person.
Yeah. It's good quality. Who's your favorite Kenyan musician?
Oh my goodness, Kenyan. Okay. This guy is there's something about this song, and I don't know a lot of the songs he has done, and he's an old Kikuyu singer. And by the way, I never found myself in a situation to listen to Kikuyu music until this festival started. Ngemi started, and
you are a Ngemian.
No. In fact, I've only gone for one of them.
Okay.
But I had a colleague of mine who is not Kikuyu, but she really would sing Kikuyu songs, and I kept asking her, how do you know these Kikuyu songs? Like, where do you hear them? She's like, I have many Kikuyu friends. But I'm like, I have very many Kikuyu friends. How come I? But do you know, Eric, surprisingly, just I had never heard of those songs. And so now I have just started learning about it. And this
Kwame?
not Kwame, it's an old guy.
Oh, okay.
And the song is called Washuka.
Okay.
Nekia washuka ne dali akwa.
Yeah, that's an old song.
It's an old song.
Yeah. You didn't know that song?
No.
Oh god, you're so posh. You never listened to Shoro FM.
Well, let me tell you.
Up.
And no, Shoro, these things have come when I'm post-campus, you know.
Shoro came in 2001.
That's why I'm telling you, those are stations in the rise of the. Remember we had.
That's post-campus for you.
No, it wasn't post-campus, but by the time we were having local stations, I was not in a position to hear them because I was a bit older. But now that's why I'm telling you, when we talk even about a Kenyan view and a world view, please don't be confused, because I think sometimes we are. It could be the position you are in. It's not even poshness. That's why when I tell you, I ask my desk, how do you know this Kikuyu song? It could be because of the people you hang out with. It could be because of the literature you consume. I told you, we consumed a lot of Ogopa in my days. A lot of it, Caliph. As in, it was the beginning of the, of the explosion of Kenyan music. And then, how I don't know Kenyan Jui, I don't know. But that song just, it makes me happy. So is that my favorite Kenyan musician? No, but I'm discovering it now. He's called Kenyan Jui.
Oh, okay.
No, the song is called Kenyan Jui Mabarita, I think.
What's the musician's name?
I think he's called Kenyan Jui.
Right.
And then there's also Dikiteta wa Uni. Dikiteta wa Uni. I'm telling you, anybody who will watch this might just be thinking. Anyway, I find it interesting, and that we are picking it up now.
Are you really like? Are you planning to start an NGO for like that guy who did Mzalendo? Mzalendo, because these questions are very Mzalendo-ish. What character should members of the Kenyan society have more of?
Honesty. I'm answering the question. Honesty. I'm not going to start an NGO for it. Like I've said, for me, it's just starting conversations. And deep conversations where, like when we ask that character, I think if we are more honest.
Why don't you do a podcast like me where you just use these cards? You go into the street and you are like, what thing should every Kenyan try at least once?
But then what do you think every Kenyan should try at least once?
Visiting the farthest place from their county.
Wow, okay. Like you visit Moyale. Or Lamu.
Oh, not Lamu, because everybody is going to the coast,
But people don't go to, quite a number of people don't get to Lamu. Maybe Mombasa and Diani, but Lamu not much.
True.
I'm also thinking this other side, which would be I've talked of the north, the south. What was this side of the map? In Western Kenya. The top of Western Kenya is where?
Mount Elgon around there?
No, Mount Elgon would be
you mean Turkana?
Yeah, Turkana. Lokichogio. Kapenguria. I've been to Kapenguria. I think that's a good thing. For me, I would also...
The same thing you said about traveling. Get different perspectives.
I would like every Kenyan to hike at least once. And reason? There was a time, every life, in your life you always have a season. There was a season of hiking in my life. And I hiked in the Abadeas. And Abadeas, you will not believe, has so many places to hike. Kipipiri, Rorimeria, Satima is on the other side. That would be the Abadeas towards Senyeri. There are so many, Elephant Hill. And what baffled me is that when we go to those communities, because by the time you're getting to the mountains, you've already walked maybe through a village. Those people, they're asking Kikuyu, first, they don't understand it's income for the government. Then, because they've never done that thing themselves, it's the same thing I'm saying. It's like it's a child playing. It's the same thing. People don't understand that this generates income, it creates fitness, and then it also creates a broader sense of the world. By the way, I can't explain to you when I went up maybe Mount Satima. I can't explain to you when the vegetation changes from bamboo forests to those things we are saying were a theory, but now when you see them in the real life, when you get off bamboo and then you go to the moorlands and so on and so forth, and the feeling of being on top of the mountain, you really cannot describe it enough for a person until they do it themselves. So for me, if everybody hiked, they would also understand the sense of being up there and looking at the world and seeing, okay, it's the way Jesus was told by the devil, all this is yours. You know, when you're up there, you start thinking, oh my God, I've conquered this. I've come up this. So those are the things that you'd, think about. So I would think every Kenyan should at least hike once in their life, and not in their village. Can you go to Ngong Hills if you come from wherever else? Yeah.
What moment made you proudest of Kenya?
Okay, the moment when Kipchoge did the Indians, it made me so proud to be Kenyan. Yeah. That to me was, every Kenyan everywhere felt proud. It didn't matter whether you were in Europe, whether you were in Saudi. There was just something about it. And I know sometimes people say, the vehicle supported, you try run with all that support and we'll see how far you go. Yeah.
Least moment?
The least moment is 2007, 2008. And I was grown up enough to see it with my eyes and to understand what we went through and to see the repercussion of what an incident like that can make us go through. That to me was just, it wasn't a good time.
Favorite Kenyan book?
My favorite Kenyan book? Oh my goodness. Do you want me to say mine? No.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Let me see. Aki and there. Okay. Favorite. Oh, Erika Maraita. I have so many. And in different genres, so...
Oh, it's in the cards. You wrote these cards, huh?
I wrote those cards and I'm unable to answer it. It looks like I'm biased. Oh.
Well, your favorite right now.
Right now?
Yeah.
Let me see. Right now, let me see which book I read latest back. I read Ngugi wa Thiong'o, The River Between just recently. It was interesting. This year I've read Big Little Fights by Biko. Oh my goodness, I read a translation of A Man of the People in Kiswahili. Oh,
it's good.
Every Kenyan also should try reading a book in Kiswahili.
Yeah,
It was so hard kusoma hiyo kitabu from page 1 to like 200 in Kiswahili.
But you finished?
I finished reading it. I had made...
How was the experience, other than being hard?
You know what I wondered? Is what I was understanding in Kiswahili the same as in English? That's what I wondered to myself. Is the way I understood the book, would it be different if I read it in English? I don't know. But it was a challenge. But I was happy that I completed the challenge.
But have you read that book in English?
No, I haven't read it in English. And I'm not going to read it in English because it will spoil what I read it.
You don't want to see the difference?
No, I don't know. And I start asking myself, sasa kwa nini nilisoma hiki kitabu na lugha ya Kiswahili?
But maybe it's better in Kiswahili, huh? Maybe.
Man of the People, I don't know. Because I haven't...
But Man of the People is pretty sweet in English.
It's pretty?
Sweet.
It is.
It's the one by Chinua Achebe?
Yeah.
It's pretty delicious. There's a part where we are told he's eating the hills like yams. I don't know how they put it in Kiswahili.
In Kiswahili.
Anala.
Wacha ikai.
Anakula.
Wacha ikai. In fact, it surprised me because I didn't know A Man of the People was even a book about politics.
Yeah.
Until I read it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. But anyway, wacha nikae na Kiswahili changu kwa akili. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
You're still looking for a
Who was your favorite teacher?
My favorite?
Teacher.
My favorite teacher is, and I'll be best and I'll pick two. Was my English teacher in high school and also my CRE teacher. My CRE teacher was the person in charge of drama in our school. And she allowed me to go all out and do crazy things.
Yeah.
She's the one who allowed me to write the choral verses. She allowed me to write. My English teacher, on the other hand, harnessed me together. The first composition I wrote in school, believe it or not, in 14 minutes I wrote 1,500 words. She called me later and was like, well, this is good writing. Nyambura, nobody has time to mark your 1,500 word composition.
How many full stops were that? And how did you count the number of words?
She counted them.
Oh,
I even didn't know.
Oh, okay.
She's the one who counted. She's like, Nyambura, you need to harness.
How many full stops were these?
I think there were 5. I as in...
Really? 5 pages or 5 full stops?
No, 5 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4. And
okay.
And you know, it's those things people tell you along your life that you'd never have thought about it. She told me you need to harness your writing together. And the first time a grown-up had told me, what she meant is, first of all, it is, I had gone all out.
You are writing like you are talking.
You need to bring this together, bring it to about 500 words. And to me, it was just
500 words.
Wow,
okay.
And to be honest, after that, and maybe because I was a child, and of course I was listening to a person of authority, is when it occurred to me, yes, your stories need to be a bit tighter. You don't need to be superfluous with words, you know. Remember when we could put those sayings in composition just for the sake, you know, a dash of salt, you know. I think, so those were my 2 favorite teachers.
All right, as we close, read something.
From this?
Yes, like a paragraph.
Oh my goodness.
We want to hear your broadcaster's voice.
I hope I have one. Now, this is, the story is called To All the Men I Have Loved Before.
We don't know why you chose that one, but okay.
So, one of them is, number 4 is the crook.
All right.
This one has a mouth that can sell anything. The sun, air, water, and even penguins that they have never seen with their naked eye. Every compliment you hear has a price tag. It will be cashed in the future. When they look for you, be sure it involves you putting some effort, as obviously they need something. Everything is about them. You are in their lives because you're bringing something. Actually, bringing everything to the table. I forgot to add the table itself. They will steal your esteem and gaslight you, ensuring you can't leave them. Terrible, these ones. Can I just read the end of that so that it makes sense? So these are different people. Humans are strange. The vampire I know can be honorable to another person. It is unbelievable when people describe you unhinged person as a balanced person. People also change depending on the season or reason, or for nothing. A word of caution though, just because you are nice, don't expect others to be nice to you. Remember, a hungry, angry, wounded lion, or even a healthy one for that matter, will not resist eating you because you're a vegetarian.
Thank you, Nyambura Nganga. And actually, it's not Nganga.
No.
It's Nganga.
It's Nganga.
We tell that to the people viewing. It's not Nganga, it's Nganga. If you say Nganga, she'll be amused.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for hanging out with us today. And come back again. Tell us more stories about the blogs back in 2004.
Was it 2004?
Facebook was founded in 2004.
So it came here in about 2007, 2000. It became a big thing here, 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
I think that's when I opened my page. Blogspot.
My first Facebook account is 2009.
2009?
Yeah.
Should have signed 2007. Blogspot. Was there something called
Blogspot? There was Blogspot.
That's where I used to write, not WordPress.
There was Blog and there was Blogspot.
Blogspot it is. Should be Blogspot.
Yeah.
Anyway, and by the way, do you know what? I'll go and look for it and try and remember what.
Did you delete that account or something?
No, it still
online.
exists. It still exists. I don't know even how you're supposed to get onto it now.
You are Yahoo.
No, my Yahoo blocked a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so if you used Yahoo, so it's probably Yahoo, right? Or Ymail. Or maybe you are using Hotmail.
There's even Hammermail or something.
You mean Hotmail?
Hotmail.
Yeah.
those are the good old days. And thank you for having me. Maybe I will come some other time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there you have it. That was Nyambura Nganga, author of this book, Sojourner, and most recently, this book, Blossoming Butterflies. So until next time, this was Conversations in Literature. My name is Eric Rogara. I have been your host. Some people know me as Miyamoto Muswahili. Conversations in Literature is sponsored by Nairobi Academic Press, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel, Roaring Simba Network.